So when guys say they just want a girl that they can be themselves with, and then they go out to the clubs and they're like, oh, let me put on my hat, my affliction shirt and shit like that, look all fresh, say all these words, act a certain way, you know, testosterone, masculinity, that's hypocritical. And when girls say, I just want a guy who I can trust and who's honest and who will treat me non-objectively, right? And then they go out to the clubs and they find those guys and they latch onto those guys and those are the guys they date. That's hypocritical too, right? And eventually that evolves into dating, where it's like, okay, first date. I'll take her out to dinner. I'll pay, of course, right? Nice pasta restaurant or whatever. And I'll only say these things. I'll talk nicely. I'll sit up straight with my posture. I'll take my fork and my knife and I'll eat really nicely. I'll talk about the weather. I'll talk about her parents. I'll talk about all sorts of nice things, right? But I won't mention my sign because I've creeped her Facebook, and I know that she's a Virgo and I am a Scorpio, right? And Scorpios and Virgos don't get along, so I can't mention that on the first date. You know, instead I'll wait till the third date. Hi Nass, how you doing? Instead I'll wait till the third date. And I'll tell her on the third date because by the third date, our relationship will have progressed far enough where I can be honest and open about my sign and she won't leave me. And then that scales, right? And then that goes and that goes, and then you get excited about dating. You get excited about the process, and you're talking and you're having fun and you're just enjoying each other's company, you know, as genuine as it can get. And then eventually you're just like, yeah, I need more. Like, I need to progress. I need to progress. I need to progress. So you get, you move in together, right? You meet each other's parents, right? You're like, I need to progress. I need to progress, right? You get engaged, right? And then you get married. And then you get married. You're married. You're married after what? 1-2 years of dating. It's ridiculous. 1-2 years of dating. You get married. 1-2 years. This person's lived for 20 to 30 years, and you take 1-2 years to get to know them. That's ridiculous, right? You get married, and then suddenly there's nowhere to go. Where do you go after you get married? Well, you got to get a house. Okay, so you get a house. And you got to get a better job to get that house. So you get a better job. You're working long hours, right? Who knows? Maybe she's working too. You guys got this house. You're like, okay, well, I don't know what to do now because I can't be completely honest with myself. I can't be honest with the person I love either. What do we do next? What do we do next? Well, the next logical step, I mean, everybody else around us is doing it. Everybody else around us has done it, right? This is how you're supposed to do it without thinking of it consciously. You're not thinking about it consciously. You're thinking about it unconsciously or subconsciously or whatever. Is to have kids. How many kids do we want? Well, it varies. It varies by religious beliefs. It varies by, you know, just personal preferences. It varies, right? And then you have kids, right? You have kids, and then you got all this. You're distracted by work. You're distracted by crying. You're distracted by feeding. You're distracted by, you know, making friends with other parents who have kids so that you can hang out and stuff. And then you've forgotten to live, you know, you've forgotten to live. And then after they're like 5, 6, 8, 10, and they're semi-independent, you know, they're semi-independent, they can function without you, right? They can function without you. I agree, Kershmer. Actually, I have another story for that. They can function without you. Then you start settling down, and after all the busyness and the grief and the struggle and stuff, maybe you guys are actually on the same page. Maybe you and your wife or you and your husband, I don't know. But the probability is no. The probability is that you're not. That you're so upset and fraught with emotional trauma from this like 5-10 year episode that you've gone through, that your insecurities start to manifest. Like, you know how trauma works. If you get traumatized as a kid, it'll happen. It'll show itself when you're an adult. You'll have to go to therapy and like you can treat the symptoms, but until you actually get to the root of the trauma, you're not going to fix shit. That's what happens in marriages. So your insecurities are finally coming out. They're finally coming out, right? And now your partner sees them. And now they're revealed after all this dating, after all this time in marriage. Now your insecurities are finally revealed. Because remember, you were concealing them before because, for one, you weren't willing to work on them yourself. And for two, you were scared. You were scared of the other person because you're scared of yourself. Right? And they're finally rearing their heads. And then so what people end up doing is they end up divorcing or getting therapy or cheating, all these terrible things. And all of a sudden, their 20 years of their life is gone. They're no longer young. They no longer can go skydiving or hang gliding or climbing. Now they got kids and stuff, and their lives are over. They'll never do something really meaningful with their lives because their problems will be passed down to their kids. If you've ever read any of these books, you find that kids have so much trauma from alcoholic parents or divorced parents. There's some statistic that if a small girl, knows that her mother cheated, that she is 80% likely to cheat in her life. That's how it works. She is 80% likely to cheat in her life. And I can't pull this out of anywhere. I don't have a source or anything, but I'm pretty confident in this statistic, right? So you're left with nothing. You're left with regret and terribleness and being unfulfilled. And you got this void in your stomach. You got this void in your heart. You got this void that you can't fill. You can probably patch it a little bit. You might be able to patch it up a little bit, but it's damaged. And the way people heal is they don't heal alone, right? They heal with the help of other people, right? You heal with the people around you, right? When people are alone, that's when they're the most not futile, the most vulnerable, right? Will I ever marry? I don't know, Ness. They're the most vulnerable, right? But when people are together, that's when they're the strongest. However, if you've got everybody, and I mean 7 billion people around the world, which you can feel, like intuition exists, like you can feel people looking at you, there's all this weird shit going on. You got 7 billion people thinking one way, and you're trying to think another way. Like 9 times out of 10, the person thinking the other way will revert their thinking because of the herd mentality, right? There's actually an experiment that I heard of, and I know I'm getting off topic, and if you guys want me to stop talking, I'll stop talking. But there were 6 monkeys in a room, okay? 6 monkeys in a room, and in the middle of the room was a ladder, and at the top of the ladder were some bananas. So the 6 monkeys in the room, of course, they wanted to go get the bananas, right? Well, when a monkey would start to climb the ladder, the researchers threw could never stop. Nah, don't say that to me, man. The researcher would throw cold water on that monkey, right? On all the monkeys. Not just that monkey, but all the monkeys, okay? So then all the monkeys would never go up the ladder because they didn't like the cold water, right? So then the next thing they did is they started to replace the monkeys one by one, right? They took one monkey out, put one new monkey in, and that monkey would try and go up the ladder to get the bananas. And when that monkey would make a move for the ladder, the other monkeys would instantly beat the shit out of that monkey. They would crush that monkey, man. That monkey got fucked up, right? So then they replaced the next monkey. Same thing happened to that monkey. That monkey's like, I want bananas. That monkey got fucked up. Third monkey, fourth monkey, fifth monkey, 6 monkeys were replaced, right? 6 out of 6. So there was none of the original monkeys left, right? There were none of them left, right? But then when another monkey came back in, or another monkey was replaced, right? Like wave 3 of replacements, that monkey would go for the ladder, And instinctively, the other 5 monkeys would beat the shit out of that monkey, right? And the thing is, right, those monkeys had never been splashed by cold water. Those monkeys had no idea why they were beating that monkey up. They just did it, right? They just did it. There was no consequence. There was no water consequence for going up that ladder. All they knew was, I get beaten if I go up that ladder, so I have to beat other people if they go up that ladder. How ridiculous is that? Like, that's so ridiculous. And what I'm trying to say here with that is, when you're in life and you're doing what you're told all your life, you're going to kindergarten, you're sitting in your desk, right? You're doing your math equations, you're not looking out the window because you got to pay attention, you got to get good grades, right? You do that for 12 years, grade school, right? You graduate, you go straight to university. You go straight to university, you do the same thing in university. You drive to the university, you park your car, you pay your money, you pay your tuition, you get in there, you sit in your classroom, you take notes, right? You eat the shitty food, you go home, you study more, all because you're told to, right? All because you're told to, and then you get out of university and you're like, what? I'm 22. I'm 22, 23. I've been living my whole life being told what to do, right? I've been living my entire life being told what to do. Hold on. Let me switch my camera. Alright. I've been living my whole life being told what to do. Right? What am I going to do next? And it's not like you actively think this. This is just what's going on underneath. Right? It's going on underneath, right? And you're like, well, I should probably be doing what that other guy's doing. You know? Like 500 out of 600 people out of university are getting a job. I better go get a job. Right? What am I doing at the job? Well, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Some engineering job, probably, if it was my case, right? I would go, I'd work till... I'd wake up at 6. I'd get ready. I would dress up in my clothes and my tie. My tie. Do you know why people wear a tie? No one fucking knows why people wear a tie, right? It might make you look good, but it doesn't really. No one knows why you wear a tie, but people wear ties. I'd dress up in my tie and my nice dress clothes and stuff. I'd get in my car. At 6:30 a.m., I would drive for an hour and a half minimum through rush hour traffic to work in the morning every day. I would work from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m., even though I'm more awake and more available at night, mentally available, right? And I would do that day in and day out with a lunch break, at this exact time, even though I don't want to eat at that time, I'd be doing all this shit against my will, not against my will, willingly, even though I didn't want to, right? And then after I was done work, I would drive home in rush hour traffic again, right? Or maybe, I'd go out to the bar with other people at work, because those are the people I know now, right? I go out to the bar and I get shit drunk. And then I would just repeat it all, because that's what a lot of people do. A lot of corporate people will go to work and they'll go spend like $100 at the bar at the end of the day, right? They'll do that and they'll be miserable. But this is normal. This is what you're supposed to do. They'll be miserable, but this is normal. This is what you're supposed to do. So they'll do it and they'll hate their lives and they'll develop so many problems. They'll develop, weird traumas and preferences and I don't know, maybe a serial killer is born, who knows, right? That's an extreme case, but they do this because it's normal. So when you're trying to recover, and by recover I mean get back to yourself, when you're trying to figure out who you are and what you really want in life and how you want to actually people and talk with them and who you like and who you want to like, and who you think you should admire, and who you want to be, and all that stuff, all those questions, right? And you're finally on the right track, and then you tell your friends about it, or you tell your family about it, or you tell some random guy at work about it, or something, right? And they shut you down hard. They get all awkward. They get all weird. They gave you negative feedback, you know. They don't think that's how it should be. They project upon you all this weird shit, you know. How likely are you, especially with that story of the monkeys, you know, that monkey experiment, how likely are you to just say, all right, maybe he's right. You know, maybe if I just continue on doing what I'm doing, making money, maybe I'll meet a nice girl. We'll have a nice family, you know, we'll go to all the nice parties and I'll have all the nice things, you know, nice car, nice house, satin sheets or whatever, Egyptian cotton, who knows. Maybe then I'll be happy, I'll be fulfilled, right? And they spend all their lives trying to get there. And when they finally get there, if you've heard about a guy named Russell Brand, right? He says he's been to all the parties. He's done all the drugs. He's had sex with all the women, right? And at the top, it's all a lie. It turns to ash in your mouth, right? You leave there empty, unfulfilled, corrupted, confused, you know? And it sucks because so many people do this every day. And it sucks even worse because people are so influenced about other people's, or with other people's behaviors and with their emotions and with their feelings, right? It's like a collective thing. You don't actually just feel anger by yourself. You feel anger, and the other people who are around you can feel your anger as well, right? There's no, well, I don't know if there's evidence for it, but that's just how it works, right? It's you're not the only one who feels your emotions, right? Everybody else does too. And in a world where everybody feels not only their emotions, but their thoughts as well, to some extent, you know, it's not looking good. It's not looking great. That's why, you know, that's why I say I would rather die alone than be around people who I can't be myself with.